Is a $4 Walmart Ozark Trail survival tent worth it? We're going to check it out in today's video. Stick around. Super blustery day today, high wind advisories. What a great time to come out in the woods and do a review, right? So try to stick with me on this one. We're checking out this Walmart Ozark Trail reflective emergency survival tent. I picked this up at my local Walmart. I've never seen these before, and right now Walmart is, restocking the outdoor section for camping, and this thing caught my eye. It's only $4. It's interesting because it is a tube style tent that's made of reflective mylar material, and it has a 14-foot cord that comes with it. So what I want to do is I want to take this out of the package, show it to you, set it up, and come up with some ideas of how to actually use this thing in an emergency, because maybe for $4 it's worth throwing in your backpack if you're out day hiking. So let's get into it. So the first thing to consider is site selection when you're setting up any kind of shelter, tarp, tent, if it's for survival, camping, whatever, hammock camping. You want to look up, you want to look and make sure there are no widowmakers, there's not dead hanging branches, especially in the spring right now where there's been so much stuff falling and dying in the trees and getting caught up in those high branches, because you don't want one of those things coming down on you in the middle of the night. That will ruin your life. And then of course the other thing you're looking for on the ground is a level, dry spot without roots, without rocks, without stuff growing up, because you got to lay on that all night long. So super important process. You need to take the time to do that, whether you're camping or if you're in a situation where you got to spend the night unexpectedly in the woods. Take your time and do your site selection properly. Don't panic. It's super important. Now here's the packaging. Emergency reflective tent. Sets up in minutes with no poles, lightweight and easy to pack, fire retardant, includes 14-foot suspension cord. So when you get this thing, here it is. So we've got a general warning label on the packaging, nothing major there. Comes in a Ziploc bag. So pretty compact. I mean, this is something you could definitely throw into your day pack, your fanny pack, a BDU pocket. And my thinking is, for $4, it's better than nothing, and certainly better than just a plain standard reflective blanket. Those, they don't have sides to them. It's just one sheet, and you have to basically wrap up in those, and you have to spend a little bit more time setting those up in a shelter. This is a little bit bigger than your standard mylar blanket that you would get in a survival kit. The whole purpose of an emergency shelter is to keep you dry and warm, and dry is the key, because getting wet and then when those temperatures drop in the evening, that's when you really have a potential of getting hypothermia, getting sick, and that can really lead to a bad outcome. So having something like this is just a peace of mind. It's a little piece of insurance. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to unwrap this cord and get this set up. Now this is really cheap nylon cord, braided cord. It is not 550 cord. There's no inner strands to it. It's super lightweight, but that's part of the cost effectiveness of the $4 kit. And the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of unwind this a little bit, and then what I like to do is I like to tie a loop on one end of my ridge line. I'm just going to pass my cord through that loop that I created. And that's going to allow me not to have a knot on this end. It's going to be stationary. You have to be really careful with these. They are super thin and fragile. And we are looking for So a hole, should be a hole, pass this through. The other thing about these Mylar blankets are, as you can tell, this thing is highly reflective. So in an emergency situation, this is definitely going to be helpful because it's going to help rescuers, search and rescue teams who are out looking for you be able to see you at distance, especially when the sun hits it. So I'm going to wad up my string and then just push it through. There's a lot of stretch in this cord. So you're going to pull it tight, but not too tight. You don't want to break it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it several times. So I just put a little hitch on the end of that so I can get that off easily, but still tighten it. And then just going to wrap my cord so I don't need the extra. So I was thinking about this, how to set this thing up, and obviously there's no other instructions with it. There's no additional items that come with it to help you set it up. So if you put it on this string and you get in it, that'll hold it down. But with winds like this, it's going to blow the top of that tarp across that line and it's going to leave you exposed. So what I thought I would do is utilize a couple of binder clips and see if that works as an attachment method to the line. So that's the other problem now with these high winds. It's just blowing this thing all over the place. You need to weigh this thing down so you can actually get into it. So what I would suggest is using some sticks, long sticks, sticking those in the corners, and that'll help weigh it down. So we're going to find those. So we absolutely had our first failure. Just because of the wind setting on that line, it cut and ripped the Mylar. So now it's not a tube anymore, it is a sheet. So that presents more problems. It's going to be more difficult to set this up. You're not going to have something underneath you, which that is a problem in itself. So we're going to have to improvise something. So I don't like to sugarcoat things or put on some kind of false pretense that, you know, these things work. This thing has been an utter failure from the start, and it's all because of the wind. Winds are very high, which that's a possibility if you're in that kind of situation. You may be stuck out in the woods when you're under a windstorm. No matter which position I put it in, either the wind going across it or now the wind is going with it, it's still so much wind that the blanket itself is so flimsy and thin that you can't work with it. You can't get it to go where you want it to go. I mean, it's just a second. All right, so as I was saying, the wind is affecting it so much because it's so lightweight. You can't anchor it quick enough without it moving out of position. Of course, the wind put enough force on it that the line actually cut through the tube, making it a sheet. So if I was to give this to a family member, like my wife or maybe a kid, and say, this is your emergency shelter in case something happens, I would not be confident that they would be able to set this up easily. The videos I've seen of these things have always been under perfect conditions. Campgrounds, backyards, no wind, no rain. They're very, you know, hey, let's check this out. And they set it up and it looks cool. But here in these woods, with the conditions today, I don't think anybody's gonna be able to set this thing up. I probably could if I kept messing with it, but it's so frustrating, and I'm trying to film this for you guys. I don't see the value of this. So the $4 that you would spend on this thing is a waste. Now, we have a big hunk of Mylar. We can certainly wrap up in this on the ground, and that's what we're gonna do. We'll see how that looks. that at least have some benefit. And that's pretty much what those blankets are good for, is wrapping up in. But if you're going to try to build a shelter with one of these, good luck, especially under high wind conditions. So you've been hiking all day, you're lost, the sun is starting to go down, it's cold, it's windy, there's forecasting rain. You need to get covered up. So the best thing you can do with one of these get yourself on the ground, get tucked in, now you're able to at least keep your body dry. If you have to get inside this thing further, you certainly can. There's enough room. Hey, do you like this kind of content? Then please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when new videos show up. And also check out my affiliate links down below. I have an Amazon store and I have a Facebook group that is just huge. It's exploding right now. We're over 22,000 members and growing every day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Prepared Wanderer.